Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video. Welcome to my review of the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Woof. This is the reissue on the Return of the Jedi card. I do have the original to compare him to, and I also have the original figure loose to compare him to as well. This is, in my opinion, one of the best Vintage Collection figures that they've ever made in terms of the sculpt, the paintwork, the soft goods. Everything about this figure is pretty cool, and I can't wait to get this one out of the package, give it a bit of a comparison with the original, and then basically my son's going to be having this one because he's always wanted this figure loose. He's always seen it in my collection and wanted it, and now he gets to own a loose one for himself. So let's take a quick look at the brand new card back, or reissued card back. The only real difference is that they do have the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi logo in the corner, which moves the 4+ over to there. You've got the warning choking hazard on the top right, and there you've got a lovely image of Woof, or Klaatu as he was formerly known. He retains his number of VC24. There's the rest of them. I think I've reviewed all of those now, apart from Sayalt Marae, which I'm not going to do. Can't wait to get my hands on this wave of figures, especially Admiral Piet, hopefully in time for Celebration. There's the import sticker. Got it from In Demand Toys. They imported them. Disney and Hasbro at the bottom. And let's just quickly bring in the original card back. This one is unpunched, so it's a nice example. And looking at that, obviously they've put the weapon up there instead of in his hand, which used to be a common thing with the original Vintage Collection. And also they've, lightened the image up again, which they've done with all of them. Slightly different sort of colour to that image, but they both look great. Back of the card on the original, we love these card backs. On the backs, you've got that sort of history lesson of the original Klaatu there on his card back from Return of the Jedi back in 1983. Awesome. And then you got some of the other figures from the line as well. On the back of this one, I guess you could call it an 8-back, couldn't you? 8 figures there. So there you go. That's the difference in the card backs. Right, we're going to open this guy up now, and then we're going to compare him against the original. All right then, so before we take a good close-up look at the new version, I thought I'd just put him side by side with the original version. Now, the original version is the one on the right. Now, I've just noticed that the one on the right doesn't have his bandolier with his ammo on there and everything. And I think that's because this was actually gifted to me years ago now, maybe 3 years ago, by a very generous subscriber that knew that I needed the Woof figure loose. I had him on card, I just didn't have him loose for the Jabba's Palace that had just come out. So he kindly sent me that, but I've just noticed that it doesn't have the strapping there, which is, I've never noticed that before. But anyway, the new version has it there. Looks pretty cool. But apart from that, I really can't see too much difference with the two figures. I think the skin tone on the new version is an ever so slightly lighter shade of green, but that is about it. The Woof figure was always a great figure, so, I'm not surprised that there isn't really too much difference, to be honest. It never really had any problems with the hinges being a different colour like some of the other figures that we've reviewed in the last couple of days. He's got soft goods galore, great paintwork, great sculpting on the hands and the head and everything. So there wasn't ever really too much to complain about, and it didn't really need updating too much. So they haven't really done anything to it. It looks great. And also I've just noticed as well that this one's weapon has a fully silver blade there, whereas this one doesn't. And I've just checked my carded version as well. So I'm thinking that this, a vibro axe or something, that may have come from a different figure. So I've got a bit of a hybrid Woof here. Here is the new one. And, they haven't really cheaped out on giving us just one piece of plastic coloured vibro axe there. They have painted the sort of blade and that little piece of wire on there, just like the original. I've just had a look at the one in the card back, and it is like that as well. So that's a good thing, because obviously some of the figures that we've had since this figure's been released in the Vintage Collection 2.0, I'm thinking about those skiff guards that came in the 3-pack, Vizam and Vidane, and the Brock Starsha. The accessories that came with those figures were always a little bit plasticky. They were all one colour, not painted at all. And this is where the Woof figure really stood out, in my opinion. All right, so let's take a closer look at the new one and just take a look at the articulation very quickly. All right then, so here he is close up, and this is for you, Des T. Extreme close up. There you go. You can really see the sculpting on that face. What a fantastic figure that is. Great paintwork and everything. You can see all those little tiny sort of like teeth and everything coming out the side of his face, just painted like a yellowy colour. Now the headdress does remove, and if there is one criticism about this figure is that the headdress does pop off a little bit too easily, very much like the Gamorrean Guard in that respect. It does sort of fall off quite easily. But you know, once it's on there, it's okay if you don't sort of shake the figure around too much. But look at the detailing on that bandolier and everything, with the sort of little canisters going along that belt, on that leather belt going over his shoulder. And the sculpting work even on his back. You can see there's some detailing. And as I said, you've got that soft goods skirt, just like the original. They had to do that, just like that 80s original. And you can see all of the detail on the hands. I mean, the Woof figure, as I said, is just such a great figure. Really screen accurate. Just looks like exactly who it's supposed to be, isn't it? So just going down the figure there, you can see all that sculpting work on his trousers or pants. And then he's got the brown boots with the black toe cap. Just all in all, a really, really nice figure. Now, obviously the figure is a little bit dated in terms of articulation. So the head is on a ball. You get a nice range of motion, but nothing like you get in today's standards. He does have the ball hinge shoulders. He has the hinge at the elbow. Unfortunately, he only has the swivel wrists. He has the swivel at the waist, only swivel at the thighs. We have the knee, and then we have the ankle on a swivel. No rocker ankle or anything like that. But at the end of the day, he's a Jabba's goon that just sort of stands around in Jabba's palace. Doesn't really get too involved. You know, he's not going to be doing ninja moves or, you know, Jedi poses or anything like a trooper would do or anything. So we can forgive them for that. It is an older figure, but you know, in terms of the sculpting work and the paint and everything, that just looks like exactly who it's supposed to be. Awesome, awesome figure. Let's have a look at the accessory. As I mentioned, you've got that sort of paintwork on the blade and this piece of wire that goes across there. So that's nice intricate paintwork there. I'm glad that they've included that once more. And it's not too bendy. It's the same as it always was. He also comes with a palace style blaster which goes into the holster on the side, and once again that does have a bit of silver paint on it as well, and that fits in his hand no problem. And you've even got the trigger finger there as well. So there you go then guys, that is the review of the new updated Woof figure. All in all, there isn't really too much that's changed, but as I said, it didn't really need to change at all. The Woof figure from 2011 now, I think it was, is an exceptional figure already. I just wish that they would also bring out Jiran, which is another green Nikto that was in the Legacy collection. He would be awesome because that is another great figure that needs to be in the line. So there you go then guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and channel members, and we shall see you on the next one.